And so right here, where the crest of the wave is, I drew a line just right along my pastel paper. And then I kind of carved out this shape of where the foam is. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just kind of draw it in. This is going to be kind of like our roadmap.
And I like this already because I would never tell people to start with on sanded paper with a pencil. So I love it that you're doing it. This is part of the value of having other teachers, is that there are other ways.
Are you using a charcoal pencil?
Just a regular pencil.
So this is like a regular pencil. Can you see?
Uh-huh. And number 2.
Just an HB pencil.
So you can, I actually use this one, and I have a mechanical pencil that I love, and it's just a typical Bic pencil, which is kind of a finer point. I do a lot of sketching with this little pencil here. If we had a longer class, I would probably do a thumbnail sketch, and I do recommend doing that with all of your artwork. I do a lot of thumbnail sketches, meaning small little black and white value. It kind of helps determine if the composition wise is going to work as a painting. But today, the goal is to kind of show you the process of what I go through in painting a wave. So we're going to skip that piece and come back to our drawing. These lines here, this is just following the edge of the foam, just right along the edge of the wave. And then I drew in this line to kind of give me a reminder that I've got a plane change and a value change, meaning I've got the water is coming up and this is underneath. You're seeing through the water, so it's not as thick of water. And I just needed to remind myself when I'm going to lay the underpainting colors, to remind myself that this value is much, much darker, and kind of pay attention to that piece. So that was just for me, for painting. And then coming down here, obviously, is the bottom of the wave. And then we're going to have the water kind of come out. So as the water is coming up and cresting over, you also have the water that's being pulled into the wave. And so this piece right here is kind of is showing you the division of the plane. So right here, the water is actually flat. The plane is flat, and we know this because it's reflecting the sky. This blue is the reflective of the sky. As it moves up the wave, the plane is changing, meaning that the water is now actually, you're seeing through to the ground, to the rocks, to the underneath of the water, and you can see that. So that's just another line here to indicate and to remind myself that that's kind of like where I need to think about what colors I'm going to lay on top of my underpainting. What's interesting when you start painting waves is this color here, this value, is almost the same under here, even though it appears lighter, right? Because this is the foam laying over the water. It's reflecting the sky. So when we go to paint waves, we really want to think, we want to try to subtract that foam off the water and think about what's underneath. That's going to be your color for your underpainting. If you get your underpainting right, the rest is super simple. Take your time. So with the colors that I chose, I tend to work from the top down. So if everyone has drawn their wave in, I want you guys to start sending pictures over so I can kind of see where we're at, because I don't want to move on to the next stage until everyone's ready to go. And you can just send it through the WhatsApp thread, and I'll send you a picture of mine too. Does anyone have questions? No? They already got it.
They're pretty sharp.
I like it.
Grant, what are you working with? Newsprint?
Yeah.
Ugh. Do you have anything stronger? Newsprint isn't going to really help you in this situation. I mean, I guess it could. You're going to need fixative.
I've got fixative. I've got
Do you have show me what else you have. I just feel like the pastel paper, the newsprint is just not conducive to this. Oh, nice, Sandra. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
I've
Yeah,
got
even
watercolor paper, canvas, pad paper, and drawing paper.
Tell me again, you've got what?
I've got watercolor paper. I've got a canvas paper.
Like a canvas sheet?
Yeah.
Okay.
And drawing paper.
Try the watercolor paper.
Yeah.
It holds on to stuff more, so the color will be a little bit, and then Jessica, can you use turpentine on watercolor paper? Or would it be better for him to use fixative?
I
Well, I
don't use fixative.
So.
Fixative. All right. So yeah, so fix it. Well, that solves that problem then. Nice.
I mean,
I don't use
you're
watercolor.
not really going to be able to layer that much.
Yeah.
Like regardless.
Well, then maybe he'd be better off with the newsprint and just fixing it.
Well, or I mean, Grant, do you have watercolors?
I do, yeah. They're not great, and I'm not great with them.
I mean, it's something you could potentially do a watercolor underpainting and then lay pastel over it.
Oh, that would be kind of interesting.
Right?
So you would just do the colors. I don't know if he'd get the darkness that he needs in watercolor. Yeah,
that's the only down. Or you could use your canvas paper, and if you have acrylic paints, you could lay the acrylic paint, underpaint, and then go over with pastel.
Now that would work.
Won't it be wet?
No, acrylic paint dries pretty quickly.
Yeah. So
let's make it easy. Let's make it easy. Let's not throw him into painting unless he has to. I'd rather he just like. It's funny, Grant, I'm almost tempted to tell you to try it both ways. Try it with your newsprint and try a different version, a small version with watercolor paper, just to see the difference.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, actually.
Why don't you try that?
Okay.
Okay. So keep your newsprint one, and you're going to use fixative instead of the paint on alcohol.
You're our guinea pig today.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
we get to see what's going to happen. But you'll get the idea of what we're trying to do. And so if you do get the pastel paper, Grant, it's going to be really fun because it's worth it. I know it's expensive and you're kind of like, ugh, but it's well worth the money.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I just didn't have time to get it for this class.
Yep.
He's been kind of not in everybody else. He's not been doing as many classes.
For sure. It's pastels is not cheap.
Oh my God, no.
I mean, none of it. But it's such a beautiful medium.
So not. Right.
No.
So not cheap.
No. Well, anything art is not, but it's worth it.
Right.
Okay.
Pastels especially are not.
Exactly.
That's why we knew we had to sell. Jessica is a pastel addict.
We're not going
Marie,
to talk
for
about
sure.
that. We're not going to talk about
Oh, I 100% understand.
It's bad.
This is not an intervention, Jessica.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why I knew I could get Jean's pastels, because if there is anybody who can
get an
magnetize a box of
expensive
unisons
pastels
in the middle of New York City, it's me.
Yeah.
It's me.
Bravo.
I have a
Yes.
stupid amount of them, and it's the more the merrier.
Awesome.
You can't have too many. They're awesome.
Never. That's a true pastelist right there.
Oh, girl, you don't even. Oh my God.
You have no idea. It's sick. I have a sickness. It's sick. Okay.
Yes, yes. Well, so as we're staring at our our subject, one thing I noticed too is, do you see the behind the wave where it's almost the same value as the top of the wave? So this is something that we know isn't necessarily, and I'm just talking about this right here. We need to decide whether we want to push this wave forward, how we're going to do that, or how we're going to push the water back, because right now it's just looking flat. I'm sure if I was there taking the picture, which I wasn't, I could probably tell you exactly how, but this is the part where as an artist, we have to decide what we need to do and what we think is best. So for me and for you guys today, I'm going to actually darken this water behind the wave. That way, when we lay our colors on the top of the wave, it's going to kind of come forward, and we're going to have our dark water kind of push back. So just be aware of when you're taking pictures, I'm sure you are, that what we see on our camera isn't necessarily what is really what's going on. So, and so I've got 3 colors. I'll show you right now. I'll put them in my hand and take a picture of them. But these are the 3 colors I'm going to use for behind the wave. And we're going to start doing our underpainting. And hopefully you can see it.
Nice.
Those 2 blues are actually different values. They kind of seem the same, but they're not. So are we ready to start?
Do it.
Okay. This is the fun. So I'm going to start with my lovely Terry Ludwig. And I'm going to block
Nice.
in.
Right. I know. So dark and beautiful, right?
And
almost black.
we're
Oh,
just
is that
gonna,
eggplant?
yeah.
What color is that? Is that eggplant?
This is going to be a navy,
eggplant.
like a navy blue. And honestly, that was the one thing I learned in my classes. Don't be afraid using these dark colors. And I'm not pressing hard. This is a very soft pastel. Ludwig's pastels are very soft. And I generally try to do a semi-hard or a hard pastel just because the tooth of the paper, they tend to fill up a little bit more with the soft. But I also love this color. He has like the most beautiful colors. And I'm gonna lay in a little bit of this kind of a grayed down blue. And I'm just gonna kind of put a little bit in here.
It's still pretty dark.
It's
just
very
slightly. It's like the difference between a 4 and a 5.
Yep. And I might even, I'm gonna come down here and see what. I need more of a blue. I'm kind of testing, and like I said, I'm doing this just as long with you guys. So what I'm really wanting is I see some really deep blues in here, and that might be something I'm going to lay right over the top. And so we might be okay with just what we have. Okay, so moving down, let's start with the crest of this wave. Okay, so I'm using kind of like this, I don't know if you can see this really pretty turquoise. It's like a deep green, blue-green pastel. And I'm gonna just come along the ridge here.
Similar value. Check it out, you guys. It's green, but it's a similar value to those values at the top.
And I know this blue over the top of the green, I'm looking underneath that blue. I'm not paying attention to the reflective of the sky. I want to get to that underneath color. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm pulling my pastel down in the motion of the water. I know it's coming over like this. That's how I'm pulling my pastel as I'm painting. Even when I'm laying it down here. I'm not pressing hard. This is a very soft pastel. This is pretty white in here, and I'm going to leave this space open. And I'm going to kind of move in. I see the same color at the top of this right here. So I'm going to put that in.
So that's that green?
Yep, that green. I'm just going to put it right at the top. I see it at the top. Just right at the top here. And then I have my little testing down here. And I'm going to come down into this bottom. And this is kind of a more yellow green, I guess you would say.
So it's still a green, but it looks the same value. It looks similar in value.
Same value, but it's a cooler.
Okay.
It's cooler because we're coming down into the thicker part of the water. And
it's a good description of water. It's thick or transparent.
Yep.
I like it.
The light is not coming through as much right in that part, which is why I kind of put that line in there. Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to bring back that green kind of right in here because I see some of that green right in here. And that squeaking noise, if you hear it, is my little puppy. Okay, so I'm going to preserve this white area till we get to the foam. So I'm going to skip this piece and just kind of leave it. So right in here, I'm thinking it's cresting, but it's not as thick water, so it's a little translucent. So I'm going to go more for maybe this blue turquoise. And I'm going to come right off the edge of that. I'm going to just come down here. I'm going to keep this white edge as much as I can. And I'll show you later here why, but I'm going to leave this kind of blank in here. And let's see. Okay. Let's move down into the thinner part. So we're kind of seeing probably like through the water. I mean, it's probably really thin and the sun's shining through. So we're going to go into some really yellow green color here. Let's see what I got. Kind of seems the same. Might need a shade darker. I'm testing down here to see what color I have, because I kind of want a bright green. And the underpainting is just going to take some time. This is, like I said, this is the part where we want to take our time. And it's much brighter and yellower, and then it's getting cooler and greener as we move. So I'm going to switch to a cooler, greener color.
So that's definitely a medium value to me. I know that because when you put it next to the dark value, it does look a little lighter.
Yeah. Isn't that, yeah, it's amazing. And then we've got this really fun, bright green. And actually, I need to bring that other green, warmer green, kind of back into here, which is why I have my roadmap. Okay. And it's amazing. I'm gonna stitch these colors together here with kind of a blue, maybe even a dark blue here. With some indication of some shadows that are coming here. And
what color is that you've got, Marie?
This is going to be the new pastel blue spruce.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to stop for a minute and I'll take a picture so you can kind of see where I'm at.
And take a moment to send where you guys are at when you think you're there.
Yep. And do take your time. This is the most important piece of it.
Nice. And of course, if you don't have those colors, I know besides Jessica, I know has those colors.
Oh, well.
If you don't have those colors, don't worry. Just do the best, do the closest approximation that you can. But notice what she's doing. She's literally breaking this wave into pieces, right?
Yep.
As there's a plane change and dealing with each piece kind of separately, which I really like.
Yes, and that's exactly right. And so that's the piece that probably takes the longest is when I'm planning and looking at the picture is literally I'm working through the entire process of what colors I see underneath.
Grant, much darker. Grant, I want you to look at values much, much darker. You need to go so right, would you say?
Yeah. Yep.
Particularly on the top, way darker. Jack every value up. Yep. Dark, dark, dark.
Yep. It's kind of shocking, actually. I'm just kind of pulling some more green. So what's interesting about waves is that we think that all of this down here is just really, really light color, which makes sense because that's all we see, but it's reflecting the sky. So the color of the water actually is still the same as the color of the water here or here. What you're seeing is the reflective light.
Good, Sandra. That looks great. Sandra, I can see you learned something between this class and the last one.
Yeah.
Because I can see you're going dark. You're not resisting the darks as much.
No, I'm going darker.
You're going darker.
Yeah.
I think you're going to like it. I think you're going to be very happy with that. That's interesting. It's fun to see that. See, if only we could just keep teaching classes all day long. We'd all get really good at this.
It is something to continue. That is it's a justification, right? I mean, to continually work at it. I mean, you just keep working. I'm actually bringing in this dark blue green right to the bottom, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these really muted colors on top of it. The water is not changed. It's the foam and the reflection. That was something that I thought was just crazy when I was learning how to do waves. And I'm just working down. So I'm kind of looking at these dark areas and seeing, what do I see? What am I seeing? What color is poking through? I kind of see like a muted green over there. It takes time to kind of go through it. Let's see here. There we go. Let's see here. It's almost like a muted purple. I'm thinking we've got some sand under here. And wet sand tends to be purple. Okay.
So look at how dark. I know that the top layer, you guys, of the foreground is very light, but look at how dark she's going on her base.
Yeah.
So go dark. Go dark.
Kind of crazy. I know it doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't, but trust me. Okay, so send
it looks a lot different in the picture. It's good to have that.
That's what I figured. Just because the time of day is kind of changing right now. That's why I love the WhatsApp.
Yeah, it's kind of necessary.
It is really necessary to really show actually what's going on.
Right.
Let's see what everyone's doing.
Yeah, send stuff over, guys, as you've got it down, if you get it to the place.
I know.
This whole, you're working towards, this whole layer is going to be fixed. So you do not have to worry about these colors mixing with your top layers. They're just going to be a base.
Yep.
Upon which is why Janet, I think she was saying, or there's no Janet. Where's Janet? Oh, you're painting. Okay. Got it. Sorry. I was like, where are you? Did she pass out? Like, what happened? But that's why it's probably better not to, that's why for this particular exercise, you can see the color control is in the base layers, in the layers.
Yeah,
so.
I'm using a piece of pastel paper. I don't know if it's gonna work once we put the GAMS on.
Nice.
I don't want to cut up one of my giant sheets for an exercise.
I get you. And it'll be interesting to see the difference, right? Like to see things. And it's worth it to try it on the pre-treated paper just to see what the difference is. I never
get anything good out of a lesson anyway. It always takes me the second try.
That's part of the good. You know what? That's what I'm trying to emphasize to people, is that this is part of the good. Is that bad at the beginning? Is that first try, which is like, it's so part of that process.
And I've never painted this wave, so I am, like I said, I'm looking at things and it may just be like, oh, that is not going to look right.
I think it looks pretty good. I think you're in good shape.
Yeah. I know it seems kind of bright, and I may bring some green. I might, as I'm painting, bring some green down into this yellow green, and that's okay. Like, that's the beauty of this underpainting, and that's the fun. One I love is using the isopropyl alcohol. I use the 70%. This is the alcohol that I use. At any drugstore. You can
also use Gamsol or turpentine.
Yep.
I love how you call it painting, even though it's pastel.
I call it painting. It is painting.
Yeah.
It's painting. Pastels are paint.
Yeah.
In its purest form.
The pastel is actually the paint, is the pigment. It's in a block form versus in a tube.
It's got a dry binder.
Yep.
And it is pigment with binder, which makes it paint.
Yep.
It is not chalk. It is paint.
Yep.
It is the same paint that is in your oil paints and your acrylics and your watercolors. Pastel is dry paint. It's paint.
Yep. I feel, Janet, that looks pretty good, actually. I was going to say go darker, but you're using a pastel piece of paper, so that'll affect it.
Layer on too much, because then like I won't be able to layer more on.
You're gonna fix this layer. So
I'm not gonna do Gamsol.
You could do, well, this is the question. I'm not sure your paper will be able to handle the Gamsol, so you might want to spray fix, but try it. Since we're just experimenting anyway, try it.
Yeah.
I could try a little corner, see what happens.
Yeah.
What paper is it?
It's like, that
it's just a Strathmore pastel pad.
Sort of like the construction paper. It's got that.
It's only 80. It's like 80-pound paper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very thick.
Yeah. So I know when we started out learning pastels in Leah's class, we definitely tried out on the what do we do? Newsprint.
Newsprint. Yeah.
And it wasn't with any alcohol. It wasn't with Gamsol or anything. It was just learning. All you're doing is just trying it out. So newsprint is really great. And then all of a sudden I bought the UArt, and then that was a whole nother eye opener. It's a special paper. So
yeah, I have a bunch of it. It's just that I've already primed it all. I don't have any blank ones.
Oh, I know. Well, and it's not cheap.
Figure drawing, and I don't want to cut them up.
No. Have you used Pastel Mat?
No.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love Pastel Mat.
I love Pastel Mat. I almost say it's a tie with the UArt.
For me, it's
what I don't like about the UArt is it's too gritty for the pan pastels.
Oh, there we go. So Sandra, that's the question we were having this morning.
Yeah, I find it's the first time I use a pan pastel. I don't know what that is. What is that paper?
Pastel matte is better with pan pastel. I mean, in fact, it's my favorite paper with pan pastel. Smooth paper or pastel matte, but I don't like them on sanded paper either.
Charcoal paper that has a really fine grain on it, and I love it. It works really well with the pan pastels.
Which one?
It's just a Blick charcoal paper. You can buy single sheets.
Really?
In any size.
Oh.
And I tried it out and I really like it.
Oh.
So I use that for pan pastels.
Okay, and is it Daya? Is that how you say the name?
Oh, I'm Jessica. Daya's my daughter. She always uses the iPad for Zoom, so I just don't bother.
Okay, so you got the UR2 or 320?
I just pulled it out of my drawer. I have a 240 I'm using.
Okay,
I usually use 400.
What do you like it? I've not used that grit.
You know, I'm not seeing that much difference with
Jean, that looks good.
With 400. My very favorite pastel paper is Richardson, and they've discontinued it.
Yeah.
So I'm heartbroken. It's very sad, but that's very gritty. So I was hoping to go a little grittier than 400 with the 240. I like it. It's good. I would use it again.
So the pastelist that I took a workshop from, she loves 320. So I
will use anything 400 and grittier. I don't like UR at 600. I don't like it so much
that
I
like it either.
I don't like that. I gave it away.
No,
it's not gritty enough for me.
I really love this pastel matte. I've been doing it lately, and the UR.
It's amazing stuff. Sonelli makes a very good paper too.
I did send a picture of
but
the beast because he was slamming.
Look at him.
This morning he was like slamming. He kept slamming the computer down. So as I would try to monitor the class, he would slam into the computer and slam onto. They were running all over the place. Now he is wiped out.
So cute. Look at him. Oh.
Let's see him, Leah.
I sent him. He's sleeping. I sent you a picture.
Thank you.
Well, and because Sandra, you have the bangle.
Yes, the bangles. Three.
Oh, those
also
are beautiful. Beautiful.
They definitely own the house.
You need to get him a bigger bed.
I know.
Yes.
He's going to be a giant.
I know. I'm a little afraid.
I'm sending you a picture of
sweet.
This is my lab.
Here's Molly.
Oh, he's so sweet.
She's 8 months, and she's a little stinker.
She is.
And let's see. This was her little side eye that she gave me the other day. This is her.
Showing you a profile.
As you can see, Marie has been well trained in roaming studio techniques, which is that at least 5 minutes or 10 minutes of teacher time has to be spent talking about animals.
Yes. Yes. On the side photo, the blue highlights are fantastic.
Yes. Yeah, you should paint that, Marie. That would be a great one.
So of Molly?
Yeah. The side eye, the expression, and also the blue on her.
Yeah, the blue.
That would be awesome.
That's
all right,
actually,
go ahead and send your.
Like
I'm seeing Janet looks pretty good. Sandra's looks good. Jean's looks good. I think we're ready to go forward.
All right.
Marie. I'd say
okay, so this is my absolute favorite part. So I'm gonna take. So I do the 70% alcohol. Just it's my preference. It does come in the 91%. I was talking about it earlier in the morning class. I prefer the 70%. It gives me just a little bit more time. It has more water content, so I can kind of move the pigment around on my paper.
Darker, Eugene, darker. You need to go darker. Are you using watercolor? Oh, watercolor will be problematic. It's a different process.
Oil.
Oh, oil? Okay. So you're not going to be able to finish this today because you're using oil. This process, just so that you know that this process is that Marie is doing is involving, the ability to be able to fix layers and get them to dry so that we can build on top. So just keep that in mind as we're going through.
Yeah. Generally, I start with the lightest of the lights on my my painting. Usually, if there's sky, I will start there. This is kind of unique. We don't have any sky, so I'm going to start with my lighter lights, and that's going to be kind of in the middle with my bright yellow, green. And I'm just going to take my brush.
So if you don't have a brush, you're going to just spray fix your area. You're going to spray fix yours.
Can you show me what you're dipping it into? Is that
I'm dipping it into my rubbing alcohol.
Okay.
Yep. And I dip, and then I actually take off the excess. I really don't want drips on my wave painting right now. I want to blend the pigment.
You want to control your mark making.
I do. I love drips. Leah was the one that kind of taught me about the drips. I love them in my landscape paintings, but in wave paintings, generally, I don't want my drips, which I'm getting some drips. Haha. I'm going in the direction of the water.
So even on this base layer, she's paying attention to her mark making.
Yep.
She's trying to mimic the direction that the waves are going.
And take your time.
Obviously, if you're spray fixing, it's going to have a different look. Although you could spray fix and maybe try to take a brush and scrub a little bit before it dries.
Yeah.
You could take a brush and try and scrub it on.
Are you cleaning the brush in between each stroke?
I am. Yep.
Good question, Jean.
Yep.
Good question.
I tend to do the lights first because, as you can see, those darks can just come right into your lights, and it makes it a little bit harder to blend. And I will blend, but I'm turning my pastel into paint, literally, and fixing it to the paper. And I'm looking, so see how the water is kind of swooping down? That's really what I'm paying attention to right now.
This is a great view, by the way, Marie. You should have all your classes should be done with the camera in this position. I like it a lot.
Good. The wonderful part about this is that you can lift. If I got too much dark in one area, I can lift that pigment right off my pastel paper. I can lift it right off. And I mean, this is just painting. You're turning these pretty pastels into paint.
It's funny, Marie is a natural painter. So for her, the paintbrush is really her ideal tool. That is not true for all artists. Other artists have different tools that they like better than the paintbrush. But because of that, notice that how she is, that's partly why she's talking about, I mean, this is true. This is a painting.
Yeah.
But it's the aspects of how she's making this pastel behave like paint that is the most fun for her.
Yep.
And I like that. And it's a great actually introduction into painting. We're going to go to acrylic painting in January, and this is a great introduction to that.
I love it. Okay. And now we're going to come to the top of this wave, and it's coming over. So bring your brush. I want you to drag it over, just like it would crest. Once we get this piece, the top layer is just going to be super easy and wonderful. How's everyone doing?
Not sure.
Yeah. How can I help? You want to send a picture over?
Okay.
I like this.
I know this seems odd at first. And I'm painting horizontally. This water in the back.
Jean just sent hers over, hon, if you want to stop and take a look.
Yep. Let's see. Okay. So for whatever reason, it came over upside down. Okay. So actually, this isn't bad at all. So let me see if I can get it righted. What paper are you using again?
This is just drawing paper.
Drawing paper, and you're using the pastel on it.
Mm-hmm.
And are you fixing it with rubbing or the isopropyl
I'm using
alcohol?
Yeah, I'm using the 70% or 71, whatever
Oh.
It's the same.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say definitely on the back part behind the wave, I would add a little bit more dark to it. I don't think you're doing bad at all. I think that it just seems really rough at the beginning. I know that's the piece where every painting goes through that ugly stage, right? Like you think this is
it's
terrible.
Yeah.
And I have no clue what I'm doing. Like this is not going to be salvageable. But trust me, you're doing just fine.
Okay.
So just keep plugging along. Trust me, this underpainting, I know it seems really, really dark because it seems so light.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's
but
good.
Really, you're going to be okay.
Yeah. And notice that, I guess the best thing to notice is that our instincts aren't correct on this. Yeah. If you haven't been trained as an artist for a long time, right? Your non-artist instincts, they just don't know what's happening. It's like they're not the experts here. So that feeling of like, I'm not sure is really great.
It is
yeah,
great.
Look, yours looks just like Marie's.
That's what I'm saying. It feels and it looks weird, and that's okay. Like, you're doing what you need to do. It's just that you haven't experienced the whole process, and that once you do, and once you see why we're doing it, it will make sense at the end. And so even when we're painting in oil paintings and we're doing anything, acrylic, whatever, sometimes the paintings just look awkward. It's like a teenage kid. You're like, what is going on here?
The awkward phase.
The awkward phase. And you're just like, please, can this work? But you have to trust yourself and apply the skills, and the more you paint, the more you know, the more you work with this medium, the more comfortable you're going to get. And it is uncomfortable right now because you don't know how it's going to turn out. So
very nice, Diana. That's much better.
Yeah, do you think I should continue with more, or?
I think the only thing I feel it needs is a little bit of where the tail meets the fur of the tail meets the white.
At the end of the tail?
Yeah, that sort of part of the tail it's up. It's where the edge of the fur meets the white edge. I think there needs to be a slightly more fur ragged edge.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
Right? To indicate.
It's gorgeous.
Diana, show them the other one.
Oh.
Show them the other one. Show them the other one. She's been working on 3 commissions, and this is for one family.
Oh.
This is a fox or a dog? That's a fox, right?
It's a dog.
Yeah, it looks like a fox.
It looks, yes, I agree.
Wait till you see it, though. Diana, send the one of the 2 dogs together.
I just sent it.
Yeah.
You just
look
did?
at that.
Okay. Let me see. Oh my God.
Aren't their expressions just priceless?
Oh.
Yeah, don't touch that one, Diana. It's done.
No, I'm not touching that.
I love how you got the paw of the big dog. Just perfect.
Over the little dog.
I know. I think it's good. He does look very foxy there.
He does.
And his
your eyes are amazing.
Thank you.
Wow. This year was my first year painting dogs, and so much appreciation to you. They're not easy.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
It's like it's the drawing of them that's the toughest. The drawing is really tough.
I don't draw though. I just paint over.
Yeah. You draw.
Aww.
All right, guys, how are we doing?
Okay,
Anybody else want to show?
How are we doing?
Have you got oh, I see. You still, and yeah, so go ahead and finish that, Marie.
Okay, I'm almost done with my underpainting here. And I'm actually painting because you can see, this water is coming up. So I'm painting in that direction. I'm painting as the water is coming down. So I'm bringing my brush to that edge and bringing it in that direction.
So it isn't that dark there.
How many times are we going to have this conversation?
I know. This is the strangest part, isn't it? We're going to lay the light reflective colors over the top
of that darks.
Okay.
Isn't it strange?
I'm teasing Sandra, but it's like over and over again. You guys are going to see how important it is, as long as you can get your layers to not mix, how important these dark layers are.
Yep.
And thinking about those dark layers underneath is when you really you look at things with the artist eye, because anybody can see the top colors. That's all most people see. But if the real challenge is to see the colors that are underneath the top colors. And they are that dark.
And honestly, this is going to help you in any painting that you do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're looking at. I mean, landscape paintings, you don't just go ahead and paint.
Gorgeous.
The highlights.
Hey, Janet, bring in, get the dark all the way up to the edge where the reflected, it looks to me like your white area on the left is too big. So bring up that dark a little higher. Oh, it just turned out so well.
So is this what gouache is like?
No wonder you're not answering me. I'm on mute. That area there, that white, like I left a big blank for where the gray is, but I'm going to put some lavender in there.
You're not going to go as dark as Marie's going?
No.
Okay.
I'm going with like a darkish lavendery color.
I'm just kind of bringing some color in just a little, just tinting the paper just a little bit down into these whites.
I'm working on this paper, by the way, but I don't know what's going to happen when I try to layer over it.
On your paper?
On the Strathmore pastel paper.
Yeah. Well, that's the fun part. You're experimenting.
Yes, I'm the mad scientist.
And the guinea pig.
Sometimes the fun part is trying out different papers and different mediums, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I will say this method will produce.
That looks great, Janet. That looks really
sorry.
good.
I'm just kind of cleaning out my container here of my dirty alcohol. Okay, I'll take a picture. Let me see. I heard the ding. Yeah. Okay. See if I can get a picture here. Cancel. Okay. So I would say definitely try blending your different values, Janet, if you can.
Blending them into one another, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go in there and see if you can blend out some like that purple into the blue and make it smooth, and then transition that dark blue on the bottom into the lighter blue into the brownish color. I would try and blend and make that solid so there's no real white showing through. Are you able to do that?
I'm trying.
Yeah, I know it's hard. But you picked all the right colors. So it looks great. The underpainting is probably the longest part, I will say.
Oh my gosh, I'm using old Gamsol and I'm about to just choke on it. It's so.
I hear ya.
Thank you for the tip about the bushiness. It turned out much better.
Yes, just the edge. It's edges, right? Like
Yeah.
whenever we're working out our paintings and trying to decide when to finish them. It's how that was a major edge, and particularly because it was at the front, right? The bottom of the painting is usually where the foreground. So very nice.
Okay, I'll send it and show you. I think
this may be done.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. You tell me.
Oh, it's lovely. Absolutely lovely.
What a sweetheart.
So Leah, do you think what he's laying on that works as it is, or should I work more on that?
Let me take a look.
Maybe I need to do a little darker under the tail there at the edge of the tail.
Let me check. Hold on. Give me just a second.
Mm-hmm. But it helped with the edges there.
Let's see here. I lost my WhatsApp thread. I'm looking. Yeah, the edges look great. I almost wonder if your blanket could use a glaze of some kind just to unify it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe a light purple glaze just going over the blue parts of the blanket. The whole blanket.
That's the color I would have said.
All right, I'll do that.
Yes.
I have inculcated you.
Leah has introduced me to the glazing. Oh boy.
Me too. That was a technique that I've told that to my painting buddy in Sweden, and she said, glazing?
What is that?
Yeah.
It's called painting the lazy way.
I love it.
So it's called instant texture. I think the reason some people don't like it is that you don't have as much control. Every glaze is kind of a surprise. So like this process that you guys are going through now is very controlled. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. You may not feel like you're in control because you might not know the ending, but the method is very clear. Yes, I know, Jean.
Jeannie's like, no.
Roll through it. You may not feel like you're in control, but this is a very controlled process, what Marie is doing with you. And glazing takes it into another realm. It's going to often make it better, but you don't know what parts it's going to make better. And some parts are going to get kind of worse.
They do, but it makes it tones it all. It makes it all cohesive. It I don't know. You can't create colors when you glaze like that, I guess, when you're painting. The glazing just, I don't know. I'll do probably 5-6 layers of glazing on my paintings. Matter of fact, the Montana one that I'm doing for a commission behind me, I probably already put 5 glazes on that.
Yep. Really? And that's just at the beginning.
At least.
Because glazing, I think the other thing that's nice about glazing is that really the way our light and color works is that when light hits floods an area, it reflects every color that's in the area off of every other color. So little tiny pops of those colors, like glazes, allow you to get that color everywhere.
Yep.
And then every color that you need to. So you can glaze 4 or 5 times. Now.
Oh, wow. That's nice. Good job, Sandra.
But
Is it Sandra? Do you go by Sandra or Sandy?
Sandra, but
Sandra. Okay.
But I have to admit, I skipped the alcohol because I had such a bad experience with it this morning.
Oh, did you really?
But because it kept being wet, so everything looked like a brush stroke.
Are you still using that same paper?
No, that's a different paper.
Well, I think it's with the. Are you using the Pan Pastel for the underpainting?
So I used Pan Pastel for underpainting, and now I'm using Unison and Art Spectrum. And this is actually
that's great.
Some kind of I'm getting blisters on my fingers from rubbing when I never get this on pastel mat.
Oh, so you need that. Can you get that? What do I have? The pipe insulation. Can you get that where you're at?
Oh, that's okay. I normally use pastel mat. I'm just trying to. I'm just running low.
So I buy this. It's just it's pipe insulation.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Right.
Or a sponge. Right.
And then I just break off pieces. I literally just tear off pieces like this. And I use this to blend, and it saves my fingers.
Oh.
But on pastel mat, I never have this.
Well, so that might be something you want to do, Sandra, is find something like that to.
Thank you. Next time I'm in Home Depot, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, I mean, try it.
Costs literally like $3 or something for one.
Right,
piece.
as opposed to like $20 for a.
But I buy pastel mat in France because it's it's a fraction of a price.
Yeah.
That you pay for it here.
Wow.
Unfortunately, they don't ship to the US.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
yay.
Because it'll chew up your fingers. The grit.
Yeah, I hadn't used that kind of. This is like a part of a set of trial papers I got from Dakota.
Oh yeah,
so
I love Dakota.
I picked this piece because it was the only one that was white. It was like a sample, paper samples,
Yep.
So I don't know what that is, but it's obviously scented. It says it's Pastel Premier Fine White.
Okay.
Oh, that's the old Wallace paper.
Yep.
Ah, okay.
Pastel Premier,
yes.
It's equivalent to UArt.
Yes. That sounds familiar now, but you say Wallace.
The Wallace. Yeah. Good job. Okay, so I think we're ready to move on.
Do it.
Okay. So I'm going to switch camera here, and I'm going to use, I've got a white pastel pencil. You can use, and you don't have to do this part. I kind of do sometimes because I get a little wild on my underpainting, and then I kind of lose my reference and where things are. And so sometimes I'll kind of go back in here and kind of decide where my foam's going to be and where my wave's going to be. And this is just a white pastel pencil. And I'm just kind of coming down here. And defining my space. I don't really have a lot of foam in this wave portion, so I'm not going to really worry about that. making sure I've got it out right. So that's pretty much it. I'll take a picture here. This one's actually much easier than the morning one. Man, that was a little bit different. There's a lot of foam action on that.
There was a lot more foam action. Yes, and a horizon.
Yes. Okay. So what we want to do next is we're going to lay the top layers on.
Sandra, that looks great.
On the water. Yeah, let me look. Once you guys send in what you have, I'll kind of wait, and then if everyone wants to send in where they're at before I move on to the next stage. Because now we're going to start laying the lights on the water.
It is interesting how much, you're right, how you have to adjust to what, oh, Diana, that's great. There you go. Now she's done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
There you go.
Jean, Sandra, yeah. Yeah, baby.
That's great.
Wonderful. I told you they were quick.
Yep. No, you are. This is our awkward
stage.
Awkward.
Ooh, Janet, very nice.
Oh, wow. Okay. Very nice blending. That's much better. Much better. Very nice.
I don't know what's going to happen on the next stage because it wouldn't take.
Well, what we're going to do, so at the top, Jana, at the top of your wave, so you see how it's kind of coming into the center and then going up. So on your picture, how it's kind of coming down and then kind of coming up.
Mm.
We want to make sure that this back plane doesn't compete with this plane of the wave. So that's just something to keep in mind. We're going to keep it a little bit darker than what the picture is showing behind this wave. And that's going to push this wave forward a little bit. I would say during this daytime, it's probably because the sun is kind of shining down on this, and it's making it look like it's all one height, but we know that this wave is coming up. We know that this water is down a little bit, because if it was not, it wouldn't be able to come and crest over. So we know that this water is set back and down. So we're going to make this just a little bit darker. And that's just the trickery of taking pictures.
Trickery. That's a good word. I've got to remember to use it.
It is a trickery.
The trickery.
Yeah. So
it's funny. It's fun how, like, as you get used to the fact that things look crappy at the beginning or sort of too blocky or not detailed enough, you will get to a point, you guys, where you will recognize a good underpainting for what it is. You will recognize, oh my God, there's so much that has to be done, and yet I can see the bones of this painting. It has good bones.
Mm-hmm. Because you can go up to a painting and you're like, whoa, look at that, the colors. I mean, from a distance, you may not see it, but then you walk up to it and you're like, whoa, look at all that color. That's what we want to do here. We're trying to really look at the color. And it's sometimes hard to see on this bright light color of the reflection on the water to see really, but we know that that color underneath is darker. So we're going to start laying in our top layers. So I'm going to, let's see here. I kind of wanted to go a little bit darker. And so I'm just kind of finding out what color I wanted.
So you're using like a light blue or light purple, is it?
Yeah.
Right. Perfect. Thank you.
Hi, Julio. If I had two paintings that I brought in next week to be photographed or scanned, one is 16 by 20 and the other is a 24 by 30. Can you tell me how much those would cost?
I'm just kind of laying this top layer on, and I'll blend it here in just a minute. Right. But it is darker, but again, I want my lights to pop off here.
So 90 plus 67.
Just kind of following along here.
Okay. And how long would it take to get them done if I were to bring them?
And I'm going to use my foam insulation that I have here.
As opposed to your fingers.
Right. Instead of my finger.
Yeah, I'm having to use a different finger.
Yep. And I'm kind of just doing a swooping motion. Imagining the water, and so you've got some soft edges and you got a little bit of hard edges.
Awesome.
I'm just pulling it along here.
Okay, thanks.
Just gently. We're going to soften these edges because our focal point is the wave. We don't want this back piece competing with our wave. That's our focal point. Okay, I'll take a picture so you can see it. And we can go back to it. Right now, just because of our time frame, I just kind of want to get us going through the process. Okay, so does anyone have any questions where we're at?
No.
Okay, so we're going to start on, we're going to kind of work our way through here, and we're going to look at just kind of pulling some light blues on the top of the water, and then we're going to kind of meld.
That is looking so rad. Sorry.
So let's get into that. And my testing down here. So just kind of lightly glazing over.
Bringing, what color is it's a
this
green?
one's kind of like a light blue.
Okay.
We can see the color better on your finger through the Zoom than we can.
Isn't that interesting?
On the actual pastel itself.
So strange.
And what you guys can't see is that she's got a sheet she's testing every color on.
I am.
It's down below.
It's right here.
Yeah, you can't, there's no real room for it, but just so that you can see that she's testing everything to see, how does it look?
I always do that.
Yeah.
But I remember my book is full of things like that.
And I'm just lightly glazing this blue. I don't want to lose any of that underpainting because really the underpainting looks amazing with this light blue over it. So I'm just lightly glazing it. Glazing is a process just like painting. It's a very thin layer of a color over another color. So when I mean glazing is I'm taking this color and I'm going over another color very lightly. Very light. In the motion of the wave coming down on the crest. Very, very light. Okay. So I see some more turquoise here. And so I'm going to come over onto that wave part and I'm going to add a little bit of turquoise. I'm going to come down and make sure this is the right color I want. Okay. Yep. And I'm just doing the same glazing, very light over the underpainting.
Look at how
light.
she's using her, really watch how she's holding that pastel and using this. Boy, Marie, I wish I would kill for your lighting. Your lighting is just awful.
Your lighting, you're having hard with problems.
My studio is just a black hole.
Yeah.
Of light. Yeah. It's just terrible. And it's better. I'm working on it, but I really love how much we can see.
Okay, good. Because we've had some challenges today.
Yeah.
we've definitely, and everyone's been so nice and patient. So I'm just kind of coming under here and just lightly blending. I see some more turquoise up into here and trying to move along a little bit quicker. I know we're pressed for time. So I have a little bit of piece up here I'm going to darken. I would like to darken that. So I'm going to go back in with my undercolor painting color, which is like a dark blue green. I'm just going to darken this up a little bit more. Very, very light because this is a soft pastel and it definitely drops a lot of pigment. So just blending. And it's always a play of the lights and darks and the edges. I think the waves is edges and deciding if that edge is going to be soft or hard. And that was Molly. She agreed.
Mark.
She's like, yes.
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 Yes,
yes,
Mom.
Yes, Mom, you're right. Okay, thank you.
I think she's asking if she can help.
Oh, yeah, gosh, she thinks she can help. Oh, Lord. So one thing is you kind of, as you're moving through your painting in any medium, it's always good to kind of keep it consistent while you're using one color. You can bring it throughout the entire painting. I think going back to the glazing, that's what it does, is it unifies the entire painting. So I'm kind of using more of this green back over into this part of the wave.
It looks amazing.
Lost that edge a little bit, but that's okay.
It does. It really does. Look at how just adding those few lines and a little bit more detail has pushed this painting forward. I know we're not there yet, but we're getting there.
Yes. So as we're going to work down, we actually do have some reflective light on our water over here. And so it's just going to be a shade lighter than what we have over here on the water. So sometimes that seems a little bit hard to figure out what color is going to work. And so I'm kind of testing here to see, because I've got some some pastels. And again, it's just light touch. And you're bringing these planes together. It's kind of crazy how the water plays. And I'm dragging up in that motion because really this is reflecting. Right along that base. Very light.
Nice.
I feel like I need a little bit more darker in here. That's okay.
Now, are you going to go in with the brush and alcohol again?
No.
No.
No, this is just layering over our underpainting now. Looking at our darks and lights. And I know I need to get into the foam part. So don't spend too much time in areas because I'm guilty of that. Just kind of, I feel like I need a little bit more of that. It's kind of like a reflection almost. But it's more of this plane change. That awkward stage. I'm just dragging very, very, very lightly. Okay. Does everyone want to send over where they're at?
Why don't you show the front, Marie, as they're doing that, and then take a look. People
do the bottom piece?
Yeah, that bottom piece, just so people can see it.
Yep. Okay, so the bottom piece actually has got quite a bit of shadow. I'm actually using a very grayed purple color, and it looks white. I'm going to lay this on pretty thick. I've got a fan brush that I like to use to pull away some of my pastel to create these lines.
Oops, sorry.
When you're on a smaller painting, it's a little bit easier to do that. Okay, I'm gonna go into kind of a darker purple. It almost makes me think of like lily pads right in here.
Yes, that that reflected part of the wave.
It's like a perspective, you know. The laws of perspective. As you come closer, they're going to get fatter and wider and stringier, and so like as you are moving back into the wave, they're going to get thinner. And it's kind of fun. just kind of lightly bringing this down over here. I feel like we need a little bit. A little bit lighter. I'm kind of moving at a diagonal. I want the viewer to come. I want the viewer to be directed to the focal point and then around. So it is important to think about that with the foam. As you've watched waves before, as the foam comes in and out, it pulls in and out, and you see those strings of foam. They kind of come in and then they move out, and they create these diamonds almost, and these strings, and they move in and move out. So this is just a snapshot of that water moving. But this bottom piece is a part where we as artists can kind of, we have the liberty of changing a little bit, as long as we kind of know the movement of the water and what foam does. And I'm just gonna bring this down here. Like this blue is kind of up in here too. This is a little bit of a darker purple. I heard a ding.
Oh, that's my, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I have a supply. I have a store in North Portland that keeps running out of my stuff. So she sells out. She's like, I need more of this and more of this.
Oh, that's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I think it's the sort of, I've got to say, what's bad for the economy is good for us small suppliers that can get things done quickly and in small amounts.
Yeah.
It sounds terrible, but lack of supply chain means less product and more of our stuff selling.
Okay.
Not that they aren't totally cute. I'm just saying.
I'm going to come into the foam piece so I can kind of show you a couple little tricks here. This is an off-white. It's like a yellow white. I don't really use the whites until the very end for my spray. It's a sunny day, and I might as well use my yellow white is how I think of it. So I'm using the edge. This is a Terry Ludwig, again, why I love his pastels. They help with my waves. And why? Because they've got these lovely edges. And I'm just kind of taking the edge of my pastel at an angle, and I'm putting it down to the paper, and I'm pushing up very lightly and back down, up and back down, just very lightly, just like the water, kind of pushing it up and flicking it. and turning it on its edge and coming back, just like water. And just bringing it here. This is why I like doing that white pastel map, because it helps when I'm laying in the foam. And I'm going to tip it on its edge here because I know it's crashing down right here. And it's kind of squiggle, bring it up. And waves are actually kind of abstract. We have lots of movement, lots of interpretation. Okay. Got some spray up in here. Pressing a little bit harder on the edge and then popping it up. Yeah. Okay. So, Jeannie, I would take and put a little bit darker area up in here on your wave.
Yeah.
Yep. Just a little bit darker so you can break that plane. Either you need to make this back piece darker or this piece lighter.
Right.
I'm going to take a picture here.
Nice work, by the way.
The what?
Nice work.
Yeah.
Jean, that's looking great. Ooh,
yeah.
Marie, really dramatic. So here's the thing, you guys, we're getting close to the end of class, but we found this took another 15 or 20 minutes. Are you guys willing to hang with us?
Absolutely.
And keep working? All right.
Yeah, waves are a process.
Ooh, Sandra, very nice.
Oh, wow.
Very nice. Sandra, honestly, I love the improvement from this morning to now with your layering and your colors. And I wanted to point something out, which is notice your front area, which wasn't as dark, is kind of lacking the depth that the other areas of your painting have. Yes. So I guess what I want to do is encourage you to go darker, even if you think you shouldn't.
Thank you.
Yes, I love it.
I can see
you see, you're trying to add the dark back in. It doesn't work like that as much, right? Now the dark kind of sticks out in little dots. So I would blend those in more.
Okay.
But nice. Nice, Jean. Good job, you guys. But Sandra, beautiful. And the mark making is just stunning. I love the way I'm sorry, I'm totally jumping in here, but I know how hard it is to try and manage both the demo and the thing. So it
is hard.
Really want to say there's some really your mark making in pastels, Sandra, is just,
I'm more used to doing fur, I must say. But
it's definitely your medium.
Yeah. It's totally. You saw the cat she sent you this morning, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Astonishing.
Yeah.
Astonishing. And I didn't give her any. I mean, maybe one or two of them you did with me, but most of those you did. You didn't get that from me. That's just what Sandra does.
Yeah, I agree.
Great.
Yeah, pastel is your medium, Sandra.
Yeah.
Yes,
I have to agree.
I love it. And I've missed it. So I'm very pleased to be able to do it again.
You're back. It's missed you. Sandra, we were just saying how nice it is to see you in fine form.
Oh, I feel like today I feel like normal.
Oh, Jessica, look at that. Is that oil or pastel?
I'm all dusty tonight with you guys.
It's pastel. Oh, honey.
Oh my gosh.
So beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's her base, so you can see her base. Are you showing the process?
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Look at, look at her process as she's going. I know.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, Jessica.
Oh,
I love the purple.
I love the purple.
Yeah, that really worked.
It really works.
That really worked.
And
particularly when you're distinct. So the purple really works for that sand base, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's not really any sand in the painting that we're working on, but where Jessica's working, thank you for sending the process, Jessica. That's freaking awesome.
So
yes.
Jessica, did you do the paintbrush part?
I usually don't, but I did tonight because that's what we're doing. So I just alcoholed it a little bit. So I like to blend with the sticks and with fingers, and with the PVC pipe is good, and pan pastel tools.
Yeah.
I tend to not use brushes with pastels very much because then I'll just go paint in oil.
Jeez. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Bravo,
girl. That's just phenomenal. Are you going to hang around a little bit longer and poke at it while we? Good. Yeah, I should have warned you, Marie. Jessica's a pro.
I love
it. But you kind of got a sense of that when you saw her.
Yeah.
Really great plein air painting outside this room. By the way, Jessica, flawlessly executed in my mind. And I don't say that lightly. So
do you know, I thought that painting was a wipe off about a third of the way through.
See, so that's a good thing for everybody to know.
So bad.
So you went there and you took it.
I said, am I actually flopping today? I can't. It's not possible.
I can't flop. Turn this around.
It was bad at one point. It was bad.
Somebody else send what's happening. Marie, are you continuing to work? Are you going to do a little bit more work on this? What else are you going to do?
I think that I would like to show everyone about the toothbrush part of it, the spray.
Yes.
Before we end. And some may already know this technique and some may not. And so, or for like Sandra, she's already seen it and she may already know, and Jessica may already know. So
I have a studio toothbrush, my friend. 2 of them.
Which is not to be confused with the toothbrush one might use for your teeth.
No. But you always need a toothbrush in your studio. It's like necessity.
It's like kitchen scissors. It's like kitchen scissors.
It really is, right? So for those who have never done this before, I'm just pouring some more alcohol. And no, it's not my wine. It's
we would not sully such important things with
although that would be interesting, but for another time. I'm just going to get my toothbrush here.
So and just to be clear, the studio toothbrush, like the kitchen scissors, is not to be used for non-kitchen or non-studio things.
Yes. Yes, please don't. Please don't. And then I'm just going to take my soft white, and this is a bright white pastel. And I'm just going to take my toothbrush and I'm going to lightly just kind of go back and forth. And I'm just kind of loading my brush, charging my brush. And you'll know once you've got enough pigment on it that it starts kind of kicking up some little spots on your fingers. Okay. And so I'm looking at all this spray right here on the edge of the wave. So I'm thinking that that's where I'm going to add. So I'm going to take my hand. I'm just going to kind of block a little bit of area, and I'm going to pull down on my brush. And I'm just adding my spray.
Are you guys watching this?
Yep.
It's cool as shit. This is like serious magic trick.
It is.
Time. So don't say we'd ever taught you anything.
That is super cool.
Yeah, look at it. And it's a watercolor technique too. So I may try and incorporate it into one of our watercolor lessons. Like we've only got we've only got one lesson left before we move into the new year and painting.
Yay!
Painting, yeah.
I love this part. So I will show you. It's got some spray. And it's just not something that you can do by just putting the pastel onto the paper.
Excellent. Let's let Marie go ahead and continue to work on your painting.
Okay.
With the camera on. I want people to watch as you kind of do finishing work. And I want you, although it's easy to find this tough to do, I want you to try and walk at, sort of talk about your process as you're going through it.
Okay. So right now I kind of laid in the bottom pastel, and I'm going to take my fan brush that I like.
Oh yes,
kind
the
of
fan
a
brush.
Stiff fan brush. This is an old fan brush, and I'm going to kind of brush away some of the pastel. And kind of making my holes in my water. And it's easier to do this.
What are you using alcohol there? What are you using?
Nope, I'm just using my dry fan brush.
Dry brush, okay.
Yep. I'm kind of just scooping away some of the pastel that's laying on the top and softening the edges a little bit.
So Jean, I feel like you've kind of lost some of your darkness.
Yeah,
so I'd go over with your dark pastel on the top of that, where that wave is cresting over.
Mhm.
You know, the sort of little, the sort of upside down triangle of blue, and try to add some darks back in. Look at where Marie's got the darks, and I think you're going to see it. Yeah. And also you're not at, I know you're not at quite as far ahead as she is in this process.
This is the first time I've used pastels, except for that one time I came in late to the India class. Which was really bad.
It's a whole different thing, but it's great because it gets us ready for, this is such a great, I was just thinking about how I should have Marie do this every year. It's an excellent way of getting us ready for painting, because similar things happen in painting, and that similar feeling of like disconnect, like this doesn't look right. How can this be right? Happens as well. So it's awesome. It's really awesome. It's awesome. Awesome. It's so awesome.
It is.
It is awesome.
And I'm kind of just laying in a little bit lighter color now as I've carved out some of these holes, and I'm rolling my pastel a little bit to get these squigglies. Which I like. And sometimes, as you know, this foam is not even, and it's thicker in some areas and thinner in others.
Are you guys appreciating this? Was this helpful?
Oh,
yes.
It's very helpful.
And it's helpful to see how somebody else does something, right? Marie's way more organized than me. She's less fly by the seat of her pants. She likes to know
yes.
what she's doing.
Yes. I do.
I learned from her too. I'm trying to get a little bit more organized myself.
I do to some extent. I'm realizing that it's okay to feel not completely knowing what I'm doing, because then that's actually
you sort of trust the process. You know that the process is going to take you where you need to go.
I think that's exactly right. So you know, once you trust the process, you just kind of go with it.
Atta girl.
It looks so good.
It does, doesn't it?
Looks fantastic.
And see how she's taking that white hard pastel now and adding in those lacy top white layers on top. I think those white lines where the paint, where Jessica did something similar on her sand. You can see how those whites kind of sit delicately and lightly and subtly on the top.
Yes. Yep.
How many of you would like to see Marie teach again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Please.
Yep, we are talking. We are talking. I have so many exciting things cooking for you guys. I can't even believe it. You're not going to believe it. We're going to have lots of treats, lots of special things next year.
Yeah, it's good. It's all so good.
It's all so good.
Yep. And yeah, this is the fun part. The part I love. Well, I love it all, but pastel has a very special place for me. And Leah will tell you that I got in trouble when I started pastel. I got put in the corner.
I didn't yell at her, but she thought I was yelling at her.
Yeah, I really did. I got put in the corner. It was like, Marie, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. I really don't know. She's like, oh my God. Okay,
I will not.
stop.
I did not put her in the corner. I will
Okay.
say. I did
say. Nobody puts Marie in the corner.
I would never. Yes. Yeah, who puts Marie in? Nobody puts Marie in the corner.
Yes, it was like, but I was going through like this hard time. But to Leah's defense, she was just like, I know you can do this. What the hell are you doing? I was like, I don't know. Get me another beer.
Yeah, and I did. And then it got better. And here's what I will say. What she was having trouble with, which I remember, is that she wasn't going dark enough on her bases.
Yep.
So you will see that she learned that lesson.
Did I ever? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it looks weird, right? I mean, you all see that where you think, why are you going so dark on the bottom piece? But you see, as we're laying the lights on, it makes sense now.
It totally works, yeah.
Yeah,
it totally works.
You need those darks. We need those darks. And it throws you into this place of like, whoa, I don't know where this is going.
Yep.
Right. So that's where I want you to hold on to that feeling, because that is the feeling that tells you to suspend your ideas about what you think should happen and let them go.
Well, it's just, well, Leah, it's like turning your painting upside down. You got, you're trying to tell your brain, stop. This is going to work.
These guys all know the value of working upside down, for sure. We've definitely trained that into them. Yep. That's looking really damn fine, Marie. And you know what I like about waves and this particular subject is notice how forgiving a wave is.
Yeah.
Notice how simple the shapes are. And notice what Marie is doing. Notice that everywhere Marie is going, notice she is going to edges. So just like I was talking to Diana about her painting, like where a dark fur tail meets a white background, a white blanket, you have to make the edge. Our eye will immediately go to that area because we go to an area where dark meets light. So Maria is working edges. Right? She's looking at where the edges, and I appreciate just the watching that you guys are doing. By the way, this is being recorded, so you can watch it again if you want to try to remember it. There's so much, I'm realizing how much happens. And also look at how she's lightening. So right now she's going over with that, I feel like an announcer. Now she's coming around the corner. She's going up on a great, right? Look at how she's taking that, or like Iron Chef or something for me.
Yes, I'm the top.
She's taking this yellow color. Although there is a yellow color in the wave as it's coming up, there's also a yellow reflection. And the yellow reflection that's facing the sky is a little bit lighter. Can you see that? Notice how she's taking that yellow. And so that's another edge. It's where the flat part of the water meets the part of the water that's arching up in the wave. So she's also paying attention to that edge. And you'll see that light that's everything she's doing is just going around. And now she's looking in the dark part to see where the medium part of the wave hits that dark part. The sun must be at a funny angle.
It is.
Because because normally the top part of that wave is lighter.
Right.
I can see the sun must be coming down, or
well, we've got a thinned out wave is what's happened. And
Right.
so typically it's thicker on the base and thinner on the top.
Right.
Here it's opposite. So what's happened is the water is super clear, crystal clear. So we're probably like in Australia or something. And so we've got that color, just like beautiful. And I'm just glazing, kind of pulling in the color here. And like Leah said, I really am not having to do a whole lot because the underpainting is just fine. I'm just kind of coming back in and redefining some areas.
So sometimes that redefinition is going to mean a softer edge, but you'll notice we still distinctly see the light, the medium, and the dark edges.
For sure, yes.
So that's where she's working all the time.
Yep.
And that white lacy lines in the front that are showing the ripples of the waves coming up, there's a lot less of that than you think. It's easy to overdo that kind of thing. So
that's true.
Be careful not to cover up. A lot of that is darker.
For sure.
Very nice. Beautiful, Marie.
Yeah, thank you.
She can keep on going. I know you could probably work on this for another hour or two.
Well, I think that when you start, and that's the beauty of learning how to do anything like this, it's going to carry over in whatever medium you love. So what it's going to do is teach you to really look beneath, even in trees. If you're looking at highlights of trees, I have a painting that I did recently, and the picture, wherever it landed, if I could find it, this is it. I mean, this is, when you look at it, it's just bright green. But that's not what you start out with. You start out with a lot darker colors. And so what this technique is going to do is
Sandra, that's great.
Slow you down and look at the underneath part of it. This is the painting that I ended up doing. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, it's great.
But the whole idea is that waves and anything, this technique really makes you pay attention to the underneath color, and any highlights is like the cream of the crop. It's like makes the painting, right? It just makes everything pop. So if you get that under painting part of it, wow, you guys.
Sandra, love it.
Wow.
Boy, really, really great progression. Anybody else want to show what you're working on?
Yeah,
you don't
please
have to.
do. It's, oh, wow, Jeannie.
I just sent a better one.
I love it.
Good. Now we're starting to get the darks in. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Now try, Jean, adding some of the medium lights on the foreground water.
Yes.
While still letting some of those darks come through. And then at the last thing you'll do is add those little white layers with like the little white lines, right? But see these kind of purples and blues that are in here, that are in that forefront, that foreground. Beautiful work, Marie. Just beautiful.
Wow, you guys. Amazing.
The latest.
I love it.
Yeah, Sandra. If you had the toothbrush, I think that effect would work really nicely here.
Yes, good.
I know we don't have it. Remember? Kitchen scissors, studio toothbrush.
Right?
Beautiful, Sandra. Just beautiful. Sandra, now I feel like you've had the equivalent of an all-day workshop.
You really have.
I wasn't sure I'd have the energy, but I'm really enjoying it.
I'm so glad you came back into it.
Yeah,
so,
you're doing amazing. Yeah. This
excellent.
is your medium. Everyone actually is
doing great. They're doing great.
Because this is not easy. This is really not easy.
Does anybody want to send anything else in, or do you want to? We have any other takers?
Please do.
By the way, a long time ago, I was in this class, and a couple of people advised me to get all the colors of pan pastels.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thank you very much. That was fantastic advice.
That would be Jessica and Janet. I know who that was.
I love them.
My little addicts, my little pastel addicts.
You can never have enough colors.
I know. Exactly. I hear ya. My boys tell me I'm addicted because they see art boxes come with stuff. They're like,
all the time.
You saved me a major mistake, but I mean, it was just a thing to order the whole set.
And I'm really seeing how much watching, I don't know if you guys are noticing this, now that I am not having to do this, I'm just watching it. I'm seeing how helpful it is to have Marie do the finishing touches. Mm-hmm. So that would you agree this is a helpful thing to watch, even if you can't?
Very much so, because that's the part that
I think a lot of people get stuck on. So I'm going to remember that for my own demos. And I'm also, I'm going to say, don't worry if you don't get here, if you're not working as fast as she is, or me, or whoever your teacher is on this first one. I'm seeing there's a lot of value in being able to watch her, where I could just sit and watch. It was very soothing, actually. It's kind of like, I don't know, taking a walk in the rain or something.
And you know, it works just as well for painting. So it's it's really good.
Yeah. So as we move into subjects of more complexity, which is what we're going to do starting in January, I'm paying attention to this stuff. I know because I have taken some really shitty online art classes. So I'm working really hard to try and deliver a product that I'm trying to deliver a class for you, which is of the most value for you. So you guys let us know what's working, what's not working. That's beautiful, Marie.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, so you can just go for days on working.
So maybe let's call it a day here. And I'm going to remove the spotlight. Let's move us into gallery view so we can we can see. Does anybody want to hold up their work or no?
Yeah.
Hold up your work so we can see it.
I would love to see everyone's work.
Jesus, Sandra.
That's so
very nice, Jean. Very, very nice.
Wow.
Whoa, Jessica, you guys.
For fuck's sake. Oh my. Jean, put it back up. Put it back up. Come on. Don't be. Yeah.
Wow.
I'll hold up what I'm working on next.
Oh, fucking great, you guys. Those are amazing. Honestly, great.
They are.
And Jean, you just need a little bit more time to work. So if you want to go back into the video and watch her as she does the last pieces, and that'll help you. But great work. Great work.
So
fabulous.
It's awesome. How are those pastels, Jean? Are they great?
Oh, they're fantastic.
You know, you have sanded paper too.
I have to get the right paper. Yeah.
No, I sent you a sanded paper. Didn't it come in the box?
No, all I got were the pastels.
Oh, maybe it's on back order, or maybe that probably went to the wrong address too.
And maybe in
no.
No, Jessica. No, you don't have to go back there.
But shouldn't the whole order have been in one box?
Yeah, it should have.
They might have split it. It's really hard to get paper right now. Like
that's a supply chain. That's a supply. I can see that because it's a wood product.
Yeah.
Anything wood is really hard to get right now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, anything wood is really hard. Our neighbor owns a lumber yard. He said it's because, well, if you can imagine, it's a hard. All these, wood and pulp and all these things are very hard to produce COVID safely. Right. So everything is, and also people bought up all the wood. Like when in America, when there are a few things Americans stress bought. One was pressure treated wood to build decks. The other was baby chickens. Apparently, lots of people bought baby chickens. American stress bought all the baby chickens. I can't even imagine now.
Well, because I saw lots of my coworkers buying chickens, so that makes sense.
But everybody bought chickens. Chickens, pressure treated wood, and there was one other thing. I guess paper is I could not get 5-pound dumbbells to save my life. Like American Stress bought all the like hand weights too.
Everybody's like, I'm going to work out from home now.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Yep.
Okay, so for those of you who are not Reuters employees,